my ex-wife to find the best way to do this. And we all pretty much came to the same conclusion of do not share more than is needed. But if at some point I feel the need to elaborate, I might do that. There might be longer versions of this with breakdowns and parts. But let's get into it. Okay, so I got married May 17th of this year. And shortly before that, my wife, or ex-wife, started a new job. And that's important to know. So we end up moving into our apartment together in mid-July. I believe it was July 16th. Between the when we got married and that time, we were living with my parents. So we move in about 2 weeks after that. My wife has just a breakdown, comes into my office, has a breakdown about, I feel like we might have rushed into this, we did things too soon, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't like we need to split, it was just I'm freaking out. So, okay, let's talk through it. And about a week later, she apologizes, says, hey, I think I was just having kind of a mental breakdown. I'm like, hey, that's fine. I get it. It's scary times. I had a freak out. I think it was like the third night that we were staying in the apartment, just about like, missing my family. So some time goes on, and now we're in August, and there's another freak out. And I feel like we rushed into this, blah, blah, blah. Well, we meet with our premarital counselor. Well, our counselors, I guess, but they did our premarital counseling. We talked through, and they're like, hey, this is super common. We see this in young married couples all the time. Let's, set some expectations for one another just so you guys can help each other out. And we did. And, I think in my head, things are going great. Okay, so Monday, September 15th rolls around, and I leave work a little early. She tells me that she wants me to come home so we can talk. And so we go home, or I go home, and I get there, and she's like, hey, like, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. So I'm like, okay, I play the game for an hour. Go back in. Hey, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. Okay, go back in for an hour. Whatever. So basically, she tells me, like, hey, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. I think that it's just not worth talking about. And me being an anxious person, I'm like, well, is it something small, or is it something like you want to move out? And she's just kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like, there's just so many things happen so quick, and I don't know. Well, either way, we talked through things a little bit. I think she can tell that I'm upset. She could tell that I was upset, so she just kind of dialed back. Maybe, I don't know where her mind space is or head space is in any of this. Well, the following Saturday rolls around. Everything's all hunky-dory for me. I go out with my buddy. We put out some bags of corn and stuff. And then I get home. She's like, hey, when are you going to be home? I tell her, and she's like, okay, great. Like, I'm going to take a shower, and I'll see you when you get home. Well, I get home. She got her bags packed. Hey, I'm going to stay with my mom. I need some space away. I might be back Wednesday. I don't know. Can we talk? Nope. Gone. Out the door. Gone. Poof. Gone. No contact that Sunday, that Monday. Then Tuesday night, I finally call her. Now, mind you, in between this, I'm over at my best friend's house. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. And I say no contact. There were a couple texts sent. Well, she also goes over there and is with him and his girlfriend and just talking to them. And it's, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they're asking the questions. Hey, is there anything going on that might be causing this? Is there anything, She's like, no, nothing. Well, so Tuesday night I call her. And this is now, let me get the date. Yeah, so Tuesday the 23rd of September, I call her, and things seem well. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go out tomorrow? She's like, yeah. So her and I go out. We have a great dinner, and she tells me, like, look, I've decided I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to run away. Like, we're going to work on this together. I can't leave you. I don't want to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. Awesome. But you need to do this and this and this and this and this. And mind you, everything's been fairly normal for me up to this point, up until her leaving. So thing number one was therapy. So I put myself in therapy. I get couples therapy for the two of us. I'm paying out the butt for it, but whatever. This is necessary. Whatever means. She's like, I'm not ready to move back in yet, but we'll see. So we have our first therapy session that following Sunday, and just to kind of collapse all this down, eventually after like a week or so, she moves back in. Things are going great. I'm cooking dinner every single night, right? She did almost nothing around the apartment, and I would complain about that because it's like, but I was like, you know what? I don't care. Cooking, cleaning, everything, laundry, everything. I'm doing everything, right? I like made up her closet for her and stuff and whatever. I'm just like, I'm trying to show her whatever it is that you need, I'm going to do. And I just start working on myself and start trying to be, the best husband that I could possibly be. And it's stuff that I should have been doing beforehand, but it's like, this is my first time. I'm a kid. Well, 3 weeks go by. Let me go back to my text to figure out the date. So, mind you, during this time too, she's like trying to get me to buy her a new car and like a gaming PC, and we're coming to all the. I mean, it's amazing. It seemed like the most perfect marriage. Well, Sunday, October 12th rolls around, and things have been going great. We have our therapy session, and the therapist is like, guys, I think we made a breakthrough, and we're laughing, giggling, whatever. Well, therapy session ends. She looks at me, hey, I'm dropping out of nursing school. Hmm? When did you make that decision? She's like, last week. I was like, okay, all right. I support you. That's a big decision. That gives us more time to spend together. I guess work through these things. Breakdown, anxiety, full on, just freaking out. My jump to is, hey, let's pray. Let's pray. She doesn't want to. She goes, jumps in the shower. She's free. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I thought I could. Whatever. And I'm like, hey, let's get in the car, because car rides always calmed her down. Let's get in the car and ride around. In the car, I've been lying to you. I've been doing X, Y, X, Y. And I go, have you been cheating? And she looks at me, yeah. With who? It's her boss. So, so she says that. And, I've always been a very emotional person, but in that moment, I couldn't cry. I couldn't get angry. All I could do was drive. And in my head, I'm just praying while listening and trying to talk. And basically, she says, I find out over time that she had started emotionally cheating, which let's just call it what it is. She started cheating 2 weeks after we moved into our apartment. So mind you, this is
Forgot I'm happily married and pregnant for a second there. We're all single at a Jonas Brothers concert, married woman, tanned and shaved, also
Let me ask you guys something. How is it a man can be with a woman for years? For years.
married with 5 kids. We can do it. Actually shaved my whole body and I'm married with 3 kids. Is it happily if it's not to Joe Jonas? Solid
Ho ho! Hey, it's me, King Don Poschhauser from King Donny Auto Group, and I'm going fast to remind you to take a moment to gather with loved ones and give thanks for an incredible 30% off savings. It's the cornucopia of sales event happening right now at King Donny Auto Group.
Bountiful.
23 Sonic Charger, 24 Corset, 15 Crossworld, 45 customizable vehicles. 30%.
Look at this.
All right, the box just arrived. And honestly, I've been waiting for this one. This is the Season V8 engine model kit, a fully functional 1:6 scale V8 engine. The moment you open it, you can feel the precision. Every single part is CNC machined aluminum, heavy, solid, and insanely detailed. And get this, it's not just for display, it actually runs.
So wedding, there was so much information that came through, and we're going to get into all of it today. I did a video a few months back on 3i Atlas, and I have been talking about it quite often in interviews because everyone's talking about it. And honestly, the last time I checked into it, you could call it exciting. I call it boring because maybe that's just the comparison of my life, but it is intelligent. There is intelligent life within it. It is a spacecraft, and we're going to talk about more of that today. And the boring part is that it's really just passing through. You know, it's not going to come invade us. It's not coming to planet Earth. It is just here to pass through because it's on a journey to go elsewhere. That being said, I obviously wanted to recheck into it today. There's been a lot of stir. There's been a lot of sort of new scientific discoveries that are creating a lot of questioning. So I decided to go back to that ship and actually dig a little bit deeper. Who's occupying the ship? Why are they there? Where are they coming from? How does your ship work? What do you think about humans? What do you think about Earth? Is your ship affecting us in any way? Are you affecting us in any way? And the answers were absolutely shocking. And so fascinating. So yeah, we're going to get into all of that right now. And yeah, just strap in, hang on. As always, you guys, like, I'm a remote viewer, take it or leave it. If it resonates with you, great, it's for you. If it does not resonate with you, just go ahead and take it as a piece of entertaining, I don't know, entertaining minutes, you know? It's fascinating. And And as I've said before, I don't know what to expect. I didn't have any sort of preconceived notion. Obviously, I knew that there was intelligence behind it because I had remote viewed it a couple months ago. But I'm just skeptical and curious and open-minded and really pay attention to front loading. And essentially, that's just preconceived notion. All right. So before we get into everything I remote viewed and answering all of those fascinating questions, let's talk about some things that other people are talking about right now, just to sort of tie in some threads and get your mind a little bit stimulated, because it is interesting. So, and these are just things I picked up from other people videos that so yeah, don't take this like actually all of the cults as well. Do research on more specific things surrounding this sort of comment. Okay. So one of the first things is that very recently NASA had disruptions in its 24-hour live footage. There's also photos, I guess, of when 3i Atlas was closest to Mars, and they haven't released those images yet. However, there's sort of these junior astronomers who are all over the world, and they have their own equipment, and they are taking very fascinating images of 3i Atlas that's sparking a lot of questions. So once again, go and do your own research around that. They are speculating that actually early 2026 is when 3i Atlas is going to be closest to Earth. I know before they were speculating sort of October, November. Now they're sort of saying around January 19th. Like I said, things change, take it or leave it, but this is just information that I've picked up on. Also, people are relating sort of the emergence of 3i Atlas to some interesting worldly events like volcanoes erupting. I guess there was a big volcanic eruption, and then there's a lot of sort of recent volcanic activity that's been sort of spurring people on as well. And then on top of that, there's a lot of people linking the appearance of 3i Atlas to some very interesting religious and ancestral documents. So we're talking like the Quran, the Bible, we're talking like ancient sort of Native American indigenous roots. And there's all these prophecies that are sort of rooted within these religions that talk about, you know, in sort of different language in different ways, but, you know, a star streaking across the sky, or, you know, the emergence of the white buffalo, which actually leads me to this really weird thing that other people are talking about. Is like all these white animals are appearing everywhere. And then people are sort of interpreting that as a transformation is happening, but they're linking it back to 3i Atlas. Now, for me, just as a kind of more skeptical, logical person, I think that some of these things are a bit of a stretch, but I also realize that this is a very important time to be alive on planet Earth. And so is everything that's occurring connected to 3i Atlas? Probably not. But is it all connected to what is happening on planet Earth? Absolutely. And we're going to talk about actually specifically how 3i Atlas is affecting this planet and affecting humans and affecting the solar system, because that's a question I asked. So, and then, and then also recently they have discovered that 3i Atlas is shedding water, or I guess C2, which is really fascinating, and obviously comets don't usually do that. They also speculate that the iron and nickel content is imbalanced. Typically with a comet, the iron and nickel content is very balanced. I have no idea how they could even discern that from such a distance, but at a more scientific level, people are really sort of speculating the reality of it being sort of a space object or something more. Also, people are saying that the Mayan calendar has been off this whole time. I've heard this as well. I mean, given leap years and I don't know, like how weird our calendar is, and I don't know. Basically, they're saying that 2012 was like the prediction of the end of the Mayan calendar, but now people are correcting it to, I guess, the end of 2025 being the end of the Mayan calendar. Once again, all things to look into if you are interested. And then there's this whole sort of solar flare connection that some astronomers and other people are making to 3i Atlas, which is really fascinating. Around 500 planes due to solar activity messing with the technology of our airplanes. I've taught solar literally for years. You can literally go on. And I have had my phone. I track solar every day. And just this morning, we had a 1.9x solar flare. Now, just for reference, for those of you who don't know what that means, the last time we had a 10x solar flare, which I believe was in 1980 something, it wiped out like most of Quebec. So at least the positive thing about solar flares is depending on the sun's sort of, does the sun rotate? I don't know. Depending on where the sun is at and that sunspot is at, and depending on the rotation of the planet and where we're at, of a specific area of the planet. But a 10x or higher solar flare is going to see damage to our electrical grid. Up until that point, it is going to affect our vibrational frequency in an incredible, really any S-class solar flare having our energy. Of course, it's going to affect us. Most people just feel really tired. So we just had that this morning, and I guess there's this guy who's connecting the emergence of 3i Atlas and solar flares. And so I guess when 3i Atlas was directly behind, like traveling behind the sun, we had 3 days of intense solar activity. And I don't know sort of what he was speculating there, but it's just fascinating when we do take a look at it. And now that 3i Atlas has emerged again, we're having more solar activity. And of course, it's getting closer to planet Earth. So is it affecting things? This is one of the questions that I asked. Okay. Now let's go into the remote view. Let's just go into the information that I received. And as always, take it or leave it. It was very fascinating, and I'm glad I sort of poked around a little bit more. Before we get into everything I remote viewed, I have a couple of announcements. We are doing a massive Black Friday sale right now. Today was actually supposed to be the very last day of the Black Friday sale, but we are extending it to the end of the week. Just keep in mind that you won't see sale prices on the site until you check out. Okay? Everything I got a physical copy. I'm super reading so for the launch date. So please go ahead and grab your copy of your next book. It is going to give me and any further area you need you want to grab. So yeah, check out you can send free purchase. We send you a guide style kit. I already took it. And two things forward with the collaboration if you're interested in extra above check the next lab session on and we're get the as now that six or three Mars talking actual any specific need for and we have trans and this implement and some for other Cosmic Gateway event. This is a 3-hour event that I do live. And essentially we go through, I think it's like maybe a 30-page workbook together. And it's all about clearing out old energy of 2025 and bringing in and grounding in the new energy of 2026. I've now done this for I think 3 or 4 years. And we have live musical guests. It's really incredible. We do cord cutting. So if you feel like you need an intention setting ceremony, if you feel like you need your hand held to release the bullshit of this year, then please make your way over to the Cosmic Gateway event. All right. And right now it's 33% off. So instead of $22 for a 3-hour event, it's like $14 or something like that. Okay. So please go check that out because for me, it just anchors me into the new energy of the new year every single time. And we have so much fun. We do. And if you can't make the live event, we'll just send you a copy of the recording, which is included in your purchase. All right, guys. Let's get into my remote view. So let's just, once again, I just want to explain my process a little bit super quickly. So it was actually really funny because today I like put a piece of gum in my mouth and I close my eyes and I'm like trying to leave my body to go over to this freaking thing that's so far away. And anyway, and so I'm like chewing the gum in my mouth and it's like pulling me back into my body. I don't know, it's so funny. Maybe not that funny, but like, I take the gum out of my body because it was just like, it was like distracting me. But anyway, so yeah, close my eyes, quiet my mind, leave my body conscious, fully aware, and then travel over to a location or station or whatever that I want to go to. So that's what I did. I come back and you're explaining. So there's that class. Really, a ship of some sort. And yes, there's intelligent life inside. I really didn't go beyond that. And then also, what's their purpose? They're just passing through. And I was so sort of disappointed by that I just ended the remote view. And I was like, well, this is boring. But people still talk about it. So let's talk about it. And I did get really interesting information today. Okay, so there's intelligence inside. I tried to identify the species. And I also merge into this ship, you could call it. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, typically they're like chambers or rooms and hallways and like details I can see. Wherever we wanted to have that. I don't know if I was going to buy the energy activators one and that's what as blue stallions and pinpoint their origin. I couldn't pinpoint their species. I have definitely never interacted with beings like this before, but they were not necessarily organic. Like they did not have like organic bodies. So that was very clear. So I asked some questions, okay? Because I was like, let's actually just chat here for a second. So my first question was, why is your ship living off water or sea? I'm just curious. I don't know what the response. I don't know what to respond. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Then, so his response was very non-conversational, let's say, okay? Like, let me call it neutral. They, some extraterrestrials have like a wit to them or like humor or like an edge or whatever. And they were just very sort of matter of fact. and they answered the question without stating much more. I also didn't get like a fully loving, but also definitely didn't get a super negative. Very high vibrational. So they said that's out there. Like, yes, I'm interested in knowing where I'm going to so next one, I would say something. It is the like with his number. But cases will be slowly for a be a little counter to which in my that's like there. And that is just passing over there about Earth, you know, not here basically. So they're on to Earth, on into Earth. I don't know the entirety of Earth. They're on a mission to Earth. Of something. It could be a hole or like a hole that came from. They just did as it came from a different universe. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I didn't get into that too much. I have talked to the Galactic Federation of about black holes before. All right, so then I moved on and I said, what are your thoughts on humans? What are your thoughts on humans? Because they are just passing through. They're not technically here for us. However, this is interesting. They said that there's much around humans, and they were specifically the other beings that are interested issues. So other beings excitement around us, they are curious about us. So I said, we're humans, and they're like, oh, well, we're just curious that you have an announcement by you. I had to ask, okay, are you or your ship affecting us at this time? And so they said, yes, two things are affecting planets and human beings at this time. One is the frequency is they were talking about the movement of the ship is creating vibrational waves. So think about a boat in the water creating a wake. So they were talking about how as their ship is moving and passing through, it's sort of stirring up the cosmic dust. I don't know, but if it is sort of and I don't know how this stuff works, but if it is sort of an energetic or vibrational ripple or wave, it could potentially make sense that that vibrational ripple or wave is then hitting the sun, kind of like a wind or a wake, and it's prompting more solar flares potentially in our direction if that wake is coming from behind the sun. I don't know, right? There's just things to speculate, but that's what they said. They said yes, the frequency of us inside the ship, and then the movement of the ship itself. So it's like energy is affecting us, and then the actual physicality of it is affecting us. Which is interesting. Once again, they didn't really say how it was affecting us. I don't know why I didn't ask. And then they also said, which I think is a really big misconception right now, even if other remote viewers or channelers are kind of picking up on the same information as this is the misconception. So the misconception is they are showing up at this time to shift us into a new frequency. I don't know what other people are saying, but let's just say that's it. And that's not the case. So what they said, this is what I wrote down. They are showing up at this time for a reason. Yes, a great transition. They are here because of it, not creating it. So this was a very interesting discernment or distinction, is that they sort of planned their trip around this universe to come through our solar system to specifically observe us because they're curious about why everyone is so excited about us specifically at this time. So yes, they are sort of inadvertently affecting us and our frequency, but they are not the ones creating or initiating the change. It's like they're here because this is the time that we are transitioning and changing, and they're curious about that, so they're observing us, but they are also affecting us. So it's like kind of one of those harmony things, or the chicken and the egg thing. It's like, what came first, you know? But it was very clear that they are not creating all of the change and the transitions. And also, likewise, if you think about, once again, I don't know how the science works, but if you think about sort of this space ripple that something like that can create in our solar system, then potentially it's also sort of expanding and contracting the Earth's magnetic field a little bit, which could potentially create massive tsunamis or volcanic eruptions, or electromagnetic frequency, as we know from the moon, it can really shape and shift and change us and affect us. So that could be it too.
Biggest green flag that you're going to be a highly paid speaker that reaches and impacts millions of people, just like the first person that I ever helped to reach millions of people, over 5 million people to be exact, is a guy named Kevin Briel. I helped him 12 years ago. It was the first time I ever helped someone get a TEDx talk. Since then, I've helped over 750 people land TEDx talks that cumulatively have reached over 80 million people. So I'd humbly say I've got it down to a science.